So basically I'm following a series of rivers up into the hills, and then I'll cross over the crest of the range and go down the other side. So I thought I'd stop here for a minute because from afar I could see this temple, or this shrine rather, sorry. And it must have something important in it. It's got a big sign at the front. It's got a stairway of some sort, looks pretty old. There's a huge torii gate, well not huge but pretty big, with the ropes and the 3 straw things hanging from it. Up some steps, and there's the main shrine. Of course there are the guardian statues on the way. One. A lantern. Another lantern. Inscriptions on stones. And the shrine itself. And there are smaller shrines in the grounds. Like this one. And another 2. This must be a very important place. I'll have to look it up. And this one. And there's a couple of people who've just pulled up near my bike and they're also filming. Another one. Back on the central path. And there's another big one there. Back to the guardian lion. Water. Konnichiwa. And out we go. So this is what I look like when I'm cycling. As you can see, very, very stylish. What you can't see is the heat and the sweat underneath all of this. But anyway, that's okay. I've been cycling along this glorious river path for the last, 5-6 kilometres. And I think it's going to go on for a fair bit today. Yeah, following this river down the valley. But what I wanted to show was this beautiful, idyllic country scene. There's a lovely little village over there. Oh, there's a car coming behind me. So, yeah. Village, river in front. Some sort of path along the river. And then this path that I'm riding on, and cars are also driving on. Just to be clear, there were no frogs in the Onsen. But it's just every time I sit in a pool of hot water, I wonder what people would do if a frog came and jumped around. So I couldn't resist. I had to have a frog in here. Taking photos or video footage in an onsen is strictly not allowed. So I'm only doing this because it's really early in the morning and there are no customers around. There are 2 ladies walking around and that's it. There's always a machine where you buy your ticket for the onsen. You put the money into the slot. You push the right button, in this case it was the 400 yen one, and your ticket comes out the bottom and your change comes out the bottom too. So after you buy your ticket, you go into the onsen. They always have a blue curtain on the front for the men's section and a red curtain on the front for the ladies section. So in you go through the curtain. There are often lockers where you can lock away your valuables and they don't cost anything, or you might have to put in 100 yen deposit, but you get that back. And then you go through into a changing room. There are usually baskets, put your clothes in, maybe more lockers. There might be some chairs or benches. There's a row of sinks with stools where you can make yourself pretty after you've had your onsen. There's usually cold water to have a drink. There's very often a set of scales, and there's nearly always somewhere where you can lay a child down to get them dressed or change a nappy or whatever. And then you go through into the onsen itself. This is the onsen. This is where you sit and scrub yourself thoroughly. This onsen has shampoo, conditioner and body soap. They pretty well, most of them do. Scrub yourself thoroughly, then you can jump into the water. This one's really, really hot. I couldn't go into this. I just put my feet in, that was it. Big windows. More washing places. A cold bath. Once again, I couldn't go into it. It was just freezing cold, but I did go in up to my knees. Oh, and they usually also have a sauna. Yeah. So there you go. That's an onsen. After you've had your onsen, there's usually a nice relaxation area. They're very different. This one's only got a bit of seating, but in other places there's been a huge room with seating and low tables and even PowerPoints where I can charge my devices. Vending machines for drinks as well. There are 3 machines here. Sometimes they have coffees, sometimes they have soft drinks, and sometimes they have beers. Some onsens have massage chairs, and the most best thing of all is these foot massage things. Put your feet in there and get a foot massage. So we come along here, and this is the room that I slept in last night with the sleeping bag option. Cost me 1,500 Japanese yen. So there's the TV in the corner, which I didn't use, a tiny fridge, which I didn't use, a low table, tatami mats on the floor, my sleeping bag. And I had this room all to myself. So that's all good. Okay, so it's just after 7 in the morning. The sun's come up, humidity is really spiking already. I've been on the road for an hour and a half. I left at 5:30. I've spent most of that time leaving Tsuruoka, crossing the paddy fields and going up and over a big hill. And now I've got to the coast, and this is the Sea of Japan. And over there, where we can't see it because it's too far away, is China. So yeah, I'll be following this coast all the way to firstly Niigata, and then on and off down to Kanazawa. This road's the number 7. It's carrying a little bit of traffic, but like I said before, it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. No doubt the traffic will get heavier. And this is the road I'll be following. And I believe there is a convenience store in 1.7 kilometres. So I'm really looking forward to my morning coffee. Now, I was just about to give up hope of finding this convenience store, and there I see the sign up ahead. Now, it's difficult to see. But something for older people who are looking at getting cataract surgery done. If you get your cataracts taken out, your eyesight gets a lot better and you can see things far away in the distance that you would never have been able to see beforehand. So if you need cataract surgery, go and do it. Yeah. So coffee. It's really nice. This is one of the high points of my day's coffee, combined with a bit of cake. I'm not sure what this cake is, but you know, it's edible. Second breakfast. This section of the coast is all bays and headlands, like I said, like I forecast. But instead of going up and over the headlands this time, there are tunnels. I've been through 8 already in the space of, what, half an hour? Yeah, beautiful scenery, absolutely stunning. And there is a sink, a bit like what they have at the campground, so I'm not sure if that's for campers or who, but there are no toilets here. And there's another tunnel, and there's a railway tunnel next to it. So I'm cycling between the railway line and the coast the whole time. So here's a map showing all of those tunnels. Apparently it's a very scenic area, as if I hadn't noticed. Yeah, so basically in a section 9.2 kilometres long, there's the 9.2 kilometres. There are, I don't know, 11 or 12 tunnels to go through. Most of them were quite short, only 100 metres or so, and most of them were reasonably safe. One had a really good pathway going through it, the rest didn't, but they weren't too long, so I just waited for a break in the traffic and shot through when there were no cars. It helps when it's 6 in the morning, of course.